Welcome to Real 45 with Stefan and Greg Hancock. We vibe out and have real talk, so tune in and check this out. Yeah, today is a new day. Let's seize it now and get hype. We talking about our careers, our family, and just life. Yeah, share my story with you. Inspiration like every day. Real 45, we gon' keep it live. I keep episodes on replay. Ayy, Real 45. Yeah, Real 45. Show them how we do it, man. Yeah, yeah.
Välkommen till Real 45 Podcast med Greg Hancock och mig, Stefan Gunell. Först ska vi säga att ni måste kolla in titanavsmutsextrem.com. Eller vad säger du, Greg?
Are you recording?
I'm recording. I'm just trying to do this as professional as you do, but in Swedish.
In Swedish, that was awesome. Titanavsmutsextrem.com.
Titansofdirtextreme.com.
That was awesome. So there you go, Titans. You guys know how to say your own name in Swedish now. Nu måste du gilla, dela och kommentera på den där webbsidan.
Exactly. So just go in there, like, comment, and share it. Gilla, kommentera och dela.
Are we really recording right now, or is this like...
We are recording.
We are
Welcome to Real 45 Podcast, guys.
Episode 27.
27. You're good at that.
I've been practicing, you know.
27.
27. 27. 777.
777. Oh, yeah. 777. That's not the number of the beast. That must be the...
That's Piotr Pawlicki, the Polish speedway rider. That's his number 2.
Is it?
777.
777.
Yeah.
So that's in Polish. That is like
Shedem.
Oh, shedem.
Mm-hmm. I don't know how to say 777, but I can ask Oscar. I think he's here, my mechanic.
Shedomivich.
We just make it up as we go along here.
Oscar.
Anyway. So we're at episode 27.
Yes.
let's get away from the 7 and 7.
True. So, what have you been up to?
I had a really kind of busy week in one way. I've been racing. Finally, we're back in business and things are kicking off a little bit in the racing scene. And I also went down and I've been kind of traveling all over and got back to Sweden a couple of days ago. It's nice to be back here now. We're getting close to the start of the season, getting settled and opening up our base home here and getting, taking out all the furniture and getting bikes ready and this and that.
That is nice, I think, because it's easy to get a chat with you.
It's much more easy like that, right?
Yes.
So we can actually sit face to face instead of using our killer Zoom app, because I think Zoom
is good.
Yeah, we're going to have to plug them now. Maybe we're supposed to tell.
Yeah, we're not sponsored at all, but this is probably one of the best things that we've tried out. Zoom.com,
right?
No, I think it's US or...
Oh, maybe it was. Okay.
But it's an app for the computer or in the phone. It actually, I have this CarPlay from Apple in my car. Mm-hmm. They actually have this app coming up in the CarPlay thing in the screen in the computer, so I can sit in my car and record this thing. I think if you have the computer version.
Seriously?
I think so.
I remember you when you were in the States in the winter. I think one of the car you guys rented had the Apple CarPlay in it. That's the first time I had been in a car that had it. You showed me how it worked, and again, maybe the Android versions are there too, right? But
yeah,
I'm pretty impressed with that whole system.
It's perfect.
It is, and for someone like me.
Oh yeah, and this would come in a speedway bike soon.
Bike play.
Apple
bike play.
No, I think so. But this Zoom thing is really, it's impressive. It works really good and it's easy to record and we can see each other and affordable too.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like you say, doing these audio podcasts the way we do it right now is, a lot of it we're having to grab our guests from different parts of the world at various times. So it's so simple. They can download the app. We can see them face to face. You get the facial expression. You get the real time feeling.
Yeah. So. And last time when we had Ty on it, he called us like a local area code phone call, and we just got him into the app.
That I have to say that was pretty impressive.
That was cool.
And it actually came across pretty good too, right?
Yeah, I think so. Of course, you can hear that it's not the same quality of the sound, but...
No, but speaking of that, we did have a pretty cool contact there from those people in Australia who have offered, what was it, M33 Productions or something? What was the name of it? M3 or M33?
Yeah. I don't remember right now, but really cool thing that he offered to help us out to fix the sound in this podcast.
It was pretty cool. I mean, we're so professional with our normal productions, but it's nice when people can help.
Exactly.
No.
Of course, we know that we need some help.
For sure. All jokes aside, that was very kind. I didn't get his name in the email there, but you forwarded that to me, which was really cool. So
yeah,
it was very kind of him to do that. So we thank you. And
we haven't just got back to him yet because we haven't got the time yet.
No, that's right. But he might just be hearing from us soon.
Probably. And we have to say his name now.
Absolutely. The thing was, what was cool was he said that him and his wife tend to listen to the podcast on their way to work in the morning.
Yeah.
And that's where they started. They had a few times where they felt like some of the audio wasn't that great. So they just wanted to help us out to make it better. And we get rolling doing our daily stuff and we think, yeah, it'll be good. Yeah, push. Yeah, send. Publish. Let's go for it.
We're making the best we can of these things, but something like that.
Yeah, that's right.
The guy's name is Mick Pillinger.
Yeah.
M33 Productions.
Right. All the way from Australia. Do we know what part of Australia he was from? Does it say on his email? Or?
No, just Australia.
Anyway.
It's really cool. He has this Instagram account so you can watch his works out. It's at M3333 Productions.
Check it out and we will
see what happens.
Absolutely. Thanks again, man. We really appreciate your interest and feedback. We always say, please send questions, comments, or like something like this.
Yeah.
Of course, we need help.
Yeah, we do.
So
and everything that can be better is good.
That's right.
Speaking of having a lot of things to do, I haven't been able to join you with this week's guest.
No, actually, we just started to say there too. Magnus Frodig from the MX World Collection. It's a motocross and speedway museum down in Småland in Sweden, Vimmerby, the home of the famous Pippi Longstocking.
Oh yeah, Pippi Longstrump.
No, Pippi Longstocking.
Is it?
It's Pippi Longstocking.
Oh yeah, of course.
Would you call her Longsroom?
Longstrump.
Longstrump. What's
long socks.
Long socks.
Long socks. Yeah.
Pippi Long socks. She's obviously pretty much everybody in the world knows who Pippi Longstocking is, and the creator of that Pippi Longstocking series, saga, story, Astrid Lindgren. It was all created and produced down there. Filmed and produced down there in Vimmerby.
Yeah.
Well, Astrid Lindgren's World, which is like the fun park and everything that they've created over the years for the Pippi Longstocking, Emil Lönneberg, and all that whole series produced by her. Where you come out of Astrid Lindgren's World, literally the exit where you pull out of the parking lot runs you smack into the MX World Collection Museum. I mean, almost right into his driveway.
I just heard a lot of this MX museum and it's so cool.
It's really cool, and Magnus and I have become friends over the last 3.5 years. I was introduced or mentioned, his name was mentioned to me by Jeff Nielsen, my former mechanic and great friend here from Halstavik. Said that I should contact Magnus because he might be interested in putting a speedway bike in his motocross museum. So it was purely motocross from day one with his interest, and eventually I made a trip, which you'll hear in the story that I had with Magnus, and he and I became friends. He's now become more than just a friend. He's a sponsor. He's a huge investment to the speedway world. We can say it like that. He's put in so much time, money, effort, and help to the speedway world. People might know him a lot, mainly because of what he did for Darcy Ward when Darcy was injured, and he ended up purchasing a lot of Darcy's equipment, running charity events and things like, or charity auctions and stuff like that he was involved with, where he pretty much bought a lot of all the suits that were made with the Darcy design for one Grand Prix that we all rode in. Yeah. And I think he's got a majority of those suits, and all the money went to Darcy, and his foundation there, or fund that they put together for him. So Magnus kicked off something big there, and he just gives back constantly, and he's an all-around good guy. He's got a very interesting story that we didn't go too deep into his whole background, because obviously you couldn't be there, and I wanted you to be there to interview with me, because there's so much about this guy that's fascinating. But
that is cool. Maybe we have some other time that we can go down there and talk to him again.
For sure. He even agreed to that, so we will do that, and you'll get a kick out of it. But he's a cool guy. He's a very cool guy, and he was probably a little nervous to do the podcast, but he jumped at the option to do it. However, once we got there, he just, I remember him putting the earphones on and stuff, going, I hate the sound of my own voice.
We all know how that is from the beginning.
Yeah, that's right. And look at us now. I mean, we love ourselves.
Yeah.
I mean, self-love is so important. But Magnus has got a wonderful family and a beautiful, beautiful house. What he's built for himself and what he's done with his museum. He's also got built a massive kids fun center, Calles Lecolaccio, it's called. Wow. Which is right across the street from this part. So you drive out of Asterlinger's world, right past the MX world, right into Calles Lecolaccio before you can actually get on the main road to get out of town. So, there's a lot of fun to be had in that part of town. So check it out if you ever pass by the Vimmerby area. So
yeah, we should absolutely do that. But he has speedway bikes, and he has
motocross bikes. He's got a Ferrari or two. And a couple of other cars that are very nice, nostalgic, and
that is cool.
He's got a lot of toys, man. It's really fun to be there. It's just he's kind of a four-wheel guy as well. He's done some racing, Ferrari Cup racing, and he's pretty crazy out in the dirt in the forest out there with Subaru and Impreza and I told him he has to take me for a ride the next time I go there, because I've heard some stories that he likes to get sideways out there, so even in the snow.
Oh, that sounds fun.
So it's pretty cool. It's really fun to be there.
Does he have his own airplane?
No airplanes, not that I know of anyway. Maybe he's got a drone or something like that, but
maybe he flies a lot anyway.
He flies a lot. I fly a lot.
You do?
I fly a lot with Lot.
With Lot?
Yeah.
Or the Polish... The
Polish airline is called Lot. Yeah. And speaking of that, you're walking me right into this. This is awesome. You're good. Actually, I had an email. When you say Lot, I have to tell you about this. I don't even know if I've given you the whole info. I had an email from the Rzeszów, my Polish team in Poland. My Polish team in Poland. Yeah, they're from Poland. Rzeszów Jasionka Airport. An email came through. It's an invitation. Rzeszów Jasionka Airport and Lot Polish Airlines cordially invite you guys to attend the inauguration of the new direct flight from Rzeszów to the New York route. Wow. Which takes place on Monday, April the 30th, 2018 at 9:30 a.m. So for security reasons, you have to confirm so they know who's coming and what have you. But which I have confirmed that I will be there because it's not often you get an invitation to to the inauguration of a new route that's getting launched.
That is awesome.
Super awesome. So
Wow.
we have to go there. We have to be there. And I'm not sure. I'm waiting for more information to come about this, but this is really cool.
So they will have a direct flight from
Rzeszów
to New York.
Yep, to Newark.
Newark.
LaGuardia. So, and the president of the airport, which I've met now, and had a quick conversation with him about all this. Apparently this is pretty cool because this airport used to have a nonstop routing to New York. I believe it was New York. Mm-hmm. And it disappeared. And this airport has been fighting for this route to come back, as I understand it. And they've been bugging Lot to do something about it for a lot of years because allegedly there are, for some reason, this part of Poland, this district, tends to have a lot of families that go back and forth or have family members who live in Newark, that part of the U.S., where a lot of different parts of Poland, they go to Chicago or I'm not exactly sure where else, but I mean, it seems that there's a massive Polish population in the U.S. anyway, but Chicago and this Newark area seems to be rather large.
Cool.
So they got this flight finally agreed. They're going to fly the Dreamliner airplane in and out of there, the new aircraft. So, you know what? I'm a little bit of a plane freak. I like planes. I'm always fascinated with what makes them tick, what makes them get off the ground, how they get off the ground. And the new Dreamliner, everything about the Dreamliner, I'm totally fascinated with. It's such a rad airplane for numerous reasons. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to just go in there, or we can get inside there and
see how it looks.
Yeah. I want to push some buttons and put on some earphones and just pull back on the...
Yeah, sit in the cockpit and...
Yeah. I own this thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, getting something like that, to get an invitation.
That is awesome.
It's like an invitation to the White House.
Almost.
Pretty much. I mean,
It's have you ever speak to a president, like a U.S. president?
No, I've never spoken to him. and
Have you met him?
Our current president, I doubt that I'll ever speak to him either, but you never know. The thing is,
No.
I did listen to a podcast recently on Lance Armstrong had a podcast, and he was talking about, I keep talking about Lance Armstrong, but I've been listening to his, because he has some really interesting guests, and he talked about recently that Jimmy Carter, he's like 87 years old now or something, and Jimmy Carter recently was spotted, and they did a piece on a standard Delta Airlines flight between somewhere and somewhere in the U.S., and he was sitting in some row 3032D back with all the regular people. No special treatment, no first class, no business class. He was with everyone, walked on and shook every single person's hand on the airplane.
Whoa.
That's an icon right there. That's
Absolutely.
pretty cool. But, yeah, it's pretty good. I did get... No, one more thing. Our former team manager, U.S. team manager, James Easter, from years back, he was... for the U.S. team, he took care of all of us for a lot of years. And he recently was going through some of his files. In 1998, we won the World Team Championship. Myself, Billy Hamill, Sam Ermolenko, and was it Ronnie? No, not Ronnie. It wouldn't have been Ronnie then because he had been injured. But there was, I got to look back here. Who was in the team? I feel bad about this now. I should know this, right?
Yeah, but
no, me. But anyway, we when this thing took place, it was. Hang on a second. No, it was only 3 riders. I'm sorry. It was only the 3 of us because that year, the World Team Cup had been changed from a 5-rider format to a 3-rider, 2 riders and 1 reserve. So it's more like a pairs event, and Billy Helm and I won it that year in Boyens, Denmark, and Sam was the reserve rider. But our federation had written to the White House to inform them of our success. And lo and behold, we got a letter back from the White House, from President Clinton, on January 27th, 1999, is when we received a letter.
Mm-hmm.
And the letter was actually dated for December the 9th, 1998. It's got on the top, the White House, Washington, the date, December 9th, 1998, sorry. I am delighted to congratulate the members of the USA team on winning the 1998 World Speedway Championship in Denmark, which should have been the team, but that's okay.
Uh-huh.
You all can take pride in this important achievement and in the strong commitment to teamwork that made it possible. I applaud you for the skill, energy, and determination that brought you this hard-earned victory. Best wishes for every success. Signature, Bill Clinton.
That is amazing.
So, super amazing, and it kind of makes the hair stand up on your back and gives you the chills and respect. So I'm that's pretty
that
cool.
Is respect,
yeah, you know, these are kind of things. I've had a long career so far and had a few good runs, you know, and these are the kind of things you can look back on and go, whoa, this was rad. So James Easter, thank you for putting that back in front of me just to remind me of the great things that we've had the chance of doing in the past and the achievements we've had. So, and thank you, Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
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 Real 45 right there. I wonder if I could get Bill to join us on the podcast.
Oh. All about that 6 people away.
Yes.
How can we fix that? Bill Clinton. If somebody knows or have a contact with Bill Clinton, we will want him on the podcast.
I want him on the Real 45 podcast. And we you know what we can do? We can produce this letter in front of him.
Yeah.
And we won't say anything. We'll make him sign his name. And then we'll compare the signatures and make sure it's his.
Oh, true.
We want to make sure he didn't stamp it or he hasn't got some guy signing this papers for him. We want the truth right here.
Yeah, we want to know if it's true. Yeah.
Listen, Bill. All right?
Are you up for it?
Sharpen your pencil. I want you to sign your name right here. I want your Bill Clinton.
That would be awesome. We don't have to... If he doesn't have time, he can just make a call into the Zoom thing. And we can talk to him.
What was that thing again? Is it 6 people or is it 7 people?
6.
6 people.
Yeah.
You guys might remember we talked about this in one of our earlier podcasts. Stefan had told me this thing that he had heard or he learned or he knew. He probably knew because he knows a lot.
Yeah.
You're a pretty smart dude.
Sometimes.
I'm still in the bubble. But it's if you really wanted to meet somebody, like you pick someone out there who you feel like you'll never meet, right? And you said it takes like 6 people to get to that person.
Yeah.
So somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who knows someone, they get a foot in the door that's tight with the president.
Yeah. That should be...
Yeah.
They say that it works.
I know Trump pretty good, though.
You do?
Yeah.
How?
He's the president of the United States.
His phone number stands.
You don't know who he is. You don't know me, but I know him.
Of course, yeah.
I might have to see if I can get in touch with him and see if he knows a few. So if I go to Trump first and he's got 5 other people, I could probably get to Clinton.
Yeah. Easy.
So we'll start there.
But if we take someone that's Katy Perry.
Oh, right. You know her?
No, but...
you want to know her.
Oh, yeah, of course.
What guy doesn't want to know Katy Perry, though, right?
Exactly.
Okay. All right.
All right, yeah. So 6 people.
To meet Katy Perry.
Yeah. I don't know where to start, but it should be... It needs to be someone in the States. Probably.
You never know.
No. That was maybe too...
It doesn't need to be someone in the States, because if you think about it, if you back yourself up like 5 or 6 years ago, maybe 7 years ago, and you wanted to meet Tiger Woods, like 7 years ago.
Oh, yeah. Then
Who would you have called? Jesper Parnevik.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
You would
But I don't know him.
But he's Swedish, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right.
We have the connection right there.
Right there. He's Swedish, so you would start there. And Elin, his ex, she was Parnevik's au pair or nanny or something.
Nanny, yeah.
Isn't it something like that?
Yeah.
Isn't that the way the story goes?
Yes.
So
that's two people.
she's also Swedish.
She's also Swedish, yeah. So I could call it directly.
Yeah. You're halfway there, man.
That was easy. And she probably knows Katy Perry.
She probably does know Katy Perry. Even
Done?
yeah.
That's how it works anyway.
See how simple this is? So so Bill Clinton and Katy Perry, we're going big.
Yeah. Next thing.
We're gonna start with Magnus.
Exactly. We should listen to the talk that you had right now.
It was really cool. I met him at the museum first. We had a little quick chat there, and then we went over to his house, which is absolutely beautiful, what he's got there. And he's got a really nice little, I don't know what you want to call it, but a nice little place where he keeps some of his special cars. It's pretty cool, but listen to Magnus. Tell us what you think. And thanks again for listening, everybody.
Thanks.
See you soon.
See you soon. Bye.
See y'all.
Oh, remember,
Oh, yes.
comment, share, and
Like.
us at Facebook or Instagram at Real45 Podcast.
That's it.
Here comes Magnus.
See you guys next week.
See ya.
Well, I had the chance to have a sit down with a guy who many of you guys don't really know, but he's become a friend of mine. He's become a sponsor of mine. He's become quite an avid person in the world of Speedway. So, Magnus Frodig, thanks for joining us on the Real 45 podcast. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm fine.
And that's good. We love to get new guests on the show, on the episode or on the podcast, wherever you want to call us. And, I don't know how many of these episodes you've listened to, but I'm pretty sure you've heard them all, right?
Yeah, of course.
Of course. No. So anyway, Magnus, this podcast is becoming quite fun for us. And I think a lot of people are starting to get more and more interested in it as we grow and try to come up with new ideas and concepts and give the people something fun to listen to. But for us and for me in particular, is the whole thing is about kind of getting to know people and what makes them tick, or where did they come from, what did they do. And you and I have had a few years of getting to know each other now, and I've seen what you've done with the MX World Collection, the museum, and of course even with the Cadillac L'Ecoloccio for the kids that you guys have built. And you've done some pretty cool stuff in the town of Vimmerby here in Sweden, which also is also known as Astrid Lindgren's stomping ground, right?
Yeah.
Pippi Longstocking, where she came from. But tell us about Magnus. I mean, obviously we know you have this beautiful museum of motorcycles, this huge collection, and I know a lot about what you've done. And but I think a lot of people out there, they don't know. They only see all these rad bikes and the stuff, the killer collection of bikes you got and information, or Darcy Ward's collection, for instance, and then Tony Rickardson's collection that you've brought over to the museum now. What got you into this? I mean, tell us about Magnus Frodig. What got you into? What makes you tick, man? Where do you come from? Are you from the moon?
Yeah, I think so. No, I don't know what to say, but it started that I started to restore bikes and more bikes and more bikes. It's like a disease, collecting bikes, and then you want to collect more special bikes, like factory bikes or bikes with a history. Yeah, so now I got about 340 bikes in the museum.
340.
Yeah, and then it also, I also name it as a Speedway Museum now. Since I met you, I've been at every Grand Prix for 3.5 years, I think. Yeah. And and then I'm more into Speedway now than motocross. So I collect everything. As you remember, all your bottles are disappearing after the races.
The champagne bottles.
Yeah.
And you, I can also say, like when we first met, or the first trip that I did down to the museum, when I met you the first time and learned about it, did you have like 200 bikes at that stage? Or was there even more? I had 200 in my head for some reason.
Yeah, I think it was 180, I think.
And now you got 340 in 3.5 years. How many of those are Speedway bikes?
I think it's about around 40, 45 Speedway bikes.
Is that how many are in the museum now?
Yeah.
That many?
Yeah.
Just being in there again today, you know, you walk around, and I've been there a number of times over the years, and you've given me the tour at least twice. I've done most of the tour with you where you've given me we've never spent like hours in there, but you've always kind of run me through and given me the basic rundown of all the generations of the Husqvarnas and everything else that you got, with all the nostalgic bikes as well as the championship bikes from various rad athletes around the world, you know. Yeah. So going through again today, and then you start pointing something, and we were there obviously with your brother-in-law, and he's like, "Greg, haven't you been here before?" And yeah, I have, but when you have someone like Magnus with your interest in motorcycles, and you've obviously go through that museum quite a lot and do your tours to educate people on the bikes, you actually can't take it all in one time. Even if you to see all the bikes is one thing, but you have to come back just to really get a look at what's in there and understand what goes behind it. So now you have all these Speedway bikes, and you've converted the museum a couple of times since I've known you.
Yeah.
And the way you have it now, I mean, Speedway has a whole section of the MX World Collection. Yeah. It's pretty impressive. It's really impressive. I mean, were you into bikes as a kid too, or where did your love for motorcycles come from?
Yes, I was competing in the 80s, but then I stopped with everything with bikes. I was not so interested. But then around, it can be 10 years ago, I started to restore old bikes. And then my interest grew up again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Racing, so as a kid growing up, you had that involvement with bikes, and then eventually things changed, and you went away from bikes for quite a while, right? Yeah. And went into cars, maybe amongst other things. I don't know what else. You know, again, I've learned a lot about you, but there's probably a lot of stuff I still don't know about you. However, but you had a brief run with cars and racing in the Ferrari Challenge.
Yeah,
as they called it,
for 3 years, 2007 till 2009.
Rad. And then the motorcycles, you just realized that 2 wheels was better than 4, right?
Yeah.
Did you get the same enthusiasm in driving 4 wheels, though?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all about winning, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Since you and I became buddies, I obviously was informed about you through a mutual friend with Jeff Nielsen, who told me, called me up one winter and says, "Have you heard about this MX World Museum, MX World Collection Museum in Vimmerby?" No, I didn't know. This guy, Magnus, he's building this museum, and I've been talking to him quite a bit. He seems like a really cool guy. You should check it out. He's interested to have a speeder bike in there. Maybe you want to put one of your bikes in. And that conversation didn't go very far at that stage, but Jeff had asked me later when I came, like, "Have you talked to Magnus yet?" No, I haven't spoken to him. And then, through a brief trip coming down here through our distribution business to visit Bloom's MC, just almost one of your neighbors.
Yeah.
And went in there to talk to them about some stuff we were doing, and then he said, "Hey, have you been over to Magnus's place yet?" And I was, "No, I haven't. Where is it?" "Oh, you passed it coming in here. You didn't see it?" "No, obviously I didn't. But now when I come over, I can't believe that I didn't see it because, I mean, you can see it from the main road coming in. You see it everywhere. So I must have had turned a blind eye to you when I first met you."
Yeah.
But going over to meet you, and I mean within minutes of meeting you, you feel like going into the museum, first of all, you're in awe because you see motorcycles. And someone like me who loves bikes, maybe I don't have the same knowledge of the history and what goes behind some of that material that you have, which is understandable. But you're in awe, and trying to just give you the few minutes of my time and say hello without trying to turn around and look. It's like eye candy, you know, Toys R Us for stuff in there that you can't really buy. You can, it's really cool. So I mean, I've become, I feel like I can be a spokesperson for the museum wherever I go. When somebody talks about Husqvarna, they talk about nostalgic bikes, or somebody's got this rad collection of bikes, and I'm like, "No, have you seen the MX World collection? You should check out their website and go check out this museum. This he's intense, you know." But you have converted yourself from a motocross fanatic to a speedway fanatic.
Yeah, I still remember the first time when I met you, when you came into the museum, and we were talking, and then you asked me, "Do you want to follow me to Västervik tonight and see when I'm riding?" "No, I think speedway is really boring," I said. But then you convinced me that I should follow you, and yeah, since then.
3.5 years ago.
Yeah, and when you are so close, you can stay in the pit. You meet the riders, and there are stars like you when you are the people you are watching at television, and you can be with them, and some of them are quite normal. And when you stay so close to the track, when they're passing in over 100 kilometers per hour, shoulder to shoulder, that is action. And yeah, it's big difference. If you see it on television, you see it from a long distance. Mm-hmm. But yeah,
I remember the look on your face being in the pits that day when you came in. You came in with just that general interest, just looking around and whatever, and then suddenly it was like, yeah, you were in there with the guys, and I was amazed because I know you've been around the world and done many cool things of high class standard with different types of car racing or motorcycle racing, etc. So I didn't expect you to be as impressed as you were, which really makes you feel good because you think, wow, this is cool, because we always try to sell the sport, but speedway often gets overlooked because of other sports around the world, you know, whether it's Formula One or it's MotoGP or it's motocross and supercross, but you forget in Europe and in Sweden in particular, the sport is huge. So seeing your interest was impressive.
Yeah, and the weekend after was Målilla
Grand Prix,
and you didn't have to ask twice if I want to come. Yeah. But speedway is, I met quite a lot of people, and especially girls, who are not interested in engines or motor, but speedway, they can follow it, and they write in the numbers in the program, and they can be interested just in speedway.
You know, and now you've been to Poland too, and you've seen Grand Prix racing in Poland, you've seen League racing in Poland, and the ratio between men and women in Poland is even higher like that. I mean, it's a little bit more level, I should say. Yeah. So to see the amount of kids in Sweden, the amount of girls that come to the races, it's not a man's sport total. Of course, men love it, and they love the smell, they love the dirt, they love the atmosphere and everything, but it's impressive to see women, and hearing you say that, those are the kind of things we maybe overlook a lot of this stuff, and it's just part of the show for us, right? We see it all the time, but then when someone like you comes in and says, I'm impressed with the amount of girls that are here, the amount of women, and then it opens your eyes to like, yeah, actually, it is a family sport. It's not just all tailored to one audience or one age group. We would like to see more. We could probably make another podcast out of talking about that part, right? As we were discussing today, and what your plans are for Dacona Speedway, and the way they want to grow and try to attract more of the younger audience as well, because it's a sport that kind of stays with people from way back. And we want to get the youngsters away from their computers and away from their cell phones and away from their social media, and come to the track, and then put everything on their social media when they're there. So anyway, this is a great thing. And even in Poland, you see even more women there at a league match that are there dressed like they're going out for the day. It's not just like they got t-shirt and jeans and their sneakers on. They're dressed with a nice dress, or like trousers and a nice shirt and high-heeled shoes or whatever. They're like there for, it's a day out. Yeah. So sometimes we need this reality check to realize that actually this sport is pretty darn cool, and it's big. It should be bigger. But moving on now, I mean, obviously your involvement has grown a lot from that time when we met, and it was a Grand Prix in Målilla, and we got you to take a tour through the pits with us, and the MX World Collection. I'll keep saying the name so people understand it when they look at it, but if you haven't seen it on my racing suits, I'm sure you've seen it around in the pits, and it's starting to show up around a lot, the name MX World, through the charity stuff that you've been doing with the sport in particular. All the things you did for Darcy Ward. I mean, during his injury, through the involvement with Monster and everything, you were massively influential in helping to help Darcy to get to as good a position as he can be in, and the way things are going today. And a lot of investing in his riding stuff that you've put into the museum. And if you haven't seen this museum and you're coming to Sweden for a Grand Prix, or you're coming for a Swedish league match, I encourage you more and more and more to come and check this out, because these kind of things are not seen around the world. Some people have a little bit of this or a little bit of that, but he's got a lot of everything, and you won't be disappointed. So make a trip through Vimmerby on your way to Målilla and check it out, MX World Collection. But Magnus is now, he's massively involved with me with my Grand Prix campaign. He does a lot of stuff for us and helps us with. He's not just a sponsor. He's a partner in our group, and he does a lot. He offers a lot of advice. He's there to help us and do many different things that we don't need to go into today. But he's also stepped it up now, is working with one or two clubs around Sweden, but mainly now with Dacona in Målilla, the team that I'm riding for this year. So it's kind of like a win-win for me, right?
Yeah.
I hope it is for you too.
Of course.
So what brought that on? How did you get involved with Dacona in that way?
I think it depends on that. Our home track, it's quite close where I live, and the people in the club are quite open, and they invite me, and we get more and more friends, and I help Dacona. Dacona helps me. They stop by with all riders. I make lunch when they are passing for a match in another city, and they stop by, and I can also invite people come and meet the riders from Dacona. So we help each other, and that's really nice. I remember when I was a kid, or even before I met you, how it was, wow, there is Greg Hancock, and now the kids can come to the museum, come and meet for you, for example, or Ty or Chris. that it's very big for these guys, and I think it's very important for keeping the sport alive that they can come close to it also.
That's one of the things, just one of the many things that I so admire about what you're doing, because this is not all about just doing something to better the sport. It's doing something, or just something to get people to your museum. You're actually creating a network of getting people doing things together that's helping. It's not just helping the sport. You're helping the media. You're helping the kids, whether it's a kid's school and things like that. You're interacting everybody with all the different projects you do. So nothing is pretty much tailored to one area. And if that,
it's like I'm always working, even if I go to a Grand Prix. I always think about what I can do to make the sport more popular. I post on social media to make the sport grow, and also for the Swedish matches. There is always something behind. What can we do for make the sport more popular and just thinking of myself, I think everything opened when I come into Speedway, and I got so focused. It was only Speedway for me, and I want everybody else to also get that special feeling. It's special.
your enthusiasm for it is what gets someone like me even, makes me feel good about what I do even more. So I love what I do anyway, but when you talk to someone like you and you can hear you get into it, and as soon as you walk into the pits of a Grand Prix or you walk into the pits of a league match or something, you can see that you kind of scan the area in one way and just check it out to get a feel for it. And then you get ideas, and maybe nothing will be said then, but then I've had various times where we meet somewhere or have a chat on the phone, and you say, I was thinking about this, like they do at that particular track, the way they do this. Don't you think it would be neat if they did something like this or did something like that? And you bounce ideas, or you just put an idea into our heads. So in one way or another, you start to run with it. Somehow it starts to go. And one idea which I really like that you've had, which I find very fascinating, and this is not something that can be solved overnight, but I know that you've mentioned it, and I don't want to make any issues for anybody, but Swedish Speedway runs on Tuesday evenings, and we've talked about this numerous times, and I really support you on this thought for a future. Is the races start at 7 p.m. and they're not finished until around 9 p.m.
9:30.
9:30.
Yeah, sometimes.
Typically, right? So on an evening like that, on a Tuesday evening, that becomes a very late evening, and it becomes very difficult for kids with school. Even though a majority of the season is in the summertime, there is still that time before, that time after. If the races were 2 hours earlier, what you could do before, what you could do after, when the races are over, you still have the evening left, either to grab food somewhere, the kids get home on time, or events at the track that could take place too. And
like Frank, he's 5 years old, and Speedway is everything for him. And after half match, he is so tired. Oh, Daddy, can we go home? Can we go home? And
that's when you have to load him up with more sugar and more.
yeah. But and then he's sleeping when we go home. But if it could be a little bit earlier, he could be fit for fight the whole match. Even do something after.
Yeah, you still have time to go. Yeah, whatever you do. When it's the summer and you're on vacation, you have time to go grab a dinner out somewhere, or grab a drink with your friends, or a cup of coffee, or whatever you do. So.
And also for the mechanics to drive back, drive home.
It's a win-win all around. That's another discussion. We said that too. So the races finish at 9:30, and then all the guys got to load all their stuff up. They jump in the car, for the guys that are based in Poland, for instance, which many of them are these days. So they get in the car, whether they're in Målilla or they're in Hallstavik or Avesta or wherever they might be, and they're in a race to get down to try to catch a ferry at whatever time of the early hours of the morning so they can make it back across, so they can get back to the next event or just back to home. So I don't see any negativity with this whatsoever. And
I would come home at 8 o'clock, and after the game I'm home at 8, and I still can do something at home.
Probably like cleaning the floors and washing the windows and stuff. Yeah. All those manly things that we like to do when we get home, instead of just turning the TV on, watch the game. No, I'm with you.
I
not.
think it would be better for everyone. I think it could bring more people to the games, because then they still can go home and do normal things that they do at home.
You still have the evening. Like you said, there might be a series on TV you'd like to watch or something like that that normally keeps... That might be the thing that always keeps your partner from following too, right? So whether it's a man or a woman or whatever, they don't want to miss their show on, or I guess you can record everything, but still. It's not a quick fix. That's something that's going to take time, and I know you've already presented this, so hopefully that it might be a topic for discussion in the future. That would be great. We'll see. I think people should spread that word. That could work all around, even for some of the speedway stuff. The Grand Prix stuff, I think, could be a future discussion, because it's maybe that's harder with television and everything that they have going, but there are some things that, every other sporting event takes place in the middle of the day, so why do we have to be in the evenings? Speedway under lights looks great. The Speedway during the day is pretty cool too. I like the daytimes. Anyway, you have big plans for Dakar this year. I've seen some of the things that you guys are... you've become almost like a partner in the club and helping them with a lot of things, and in return, obviously, they're helping you too. But it's going to be fun. And I think the people, when they see Dakar, see Målilla on TV, or if you're there yourself to see, I encourage you to come and watch races and check it out, because there seems to be a lot of hype building for this year. And for me, I've changed clubs for the fourth time in my career. So, or actually I should say the third time it would be officially. Would that be right? Yeah, officially the third time. So I haven't done that much in all the years I've been racing here, which isn't that many, but we don't need to talk about that. But it's gonna be cool. I have Peter Carlson as my boss, so to speak, who's a guy who we've made fun with each other for the last 4 years or 5 years of saying, don't you retire, because if you retire, then I have to retire. So we kept on going, but then he went and retired. So, but I can't retire. He retired too young. But he didn't really, though, because he's still involved. So now he's going to be my boss, and he's going to try to tell me what to do, but I don't listen. So, I mean, who is he? Peter Carlson. It's just that guy. Farmer boy. Yeah, we can call him a lot of things. We did a podcast with him and Mick and Max back in the. You should listen to that one. So we make fun now. PK's I love that guy. I love him and his brother both. Our careers have run parallel right up to today, and to have him as a boss, I could have worse bosses. That's for sure. And we've had so much fun on the phone, with emails, text messages. There's the serious part too, but they get me so excited. They've invited me to do a lot of things with the club and be involved, which I'm super impressed with. That they, I've done some cool stuff with all the clubs, but these guys are doing it a little bit different. So I look forward to the season. It's going to be really, really fun. I only want to back up now real quick and just have a small recap on your museum for everybody out there that's only seen it, to come and check it out, can you tell us a little bit about the small collection of bikes you have? And the main body of the museum and the tours that you do, just to tell everybody so they know.
I can start to tell you a little bit of about the museum. There are on first floor there are mostly standard bikes. There is, for example, I think it's 88 different Husqvarnas. And then we have Yamaha, Suzuki, Kawasaki, Honda, and a lot of different brands. And then you come up to the second floor. There is mostly bikes from the Grand Prix. There are special factory bikes. There are about 10 or 11 world champion bikes. And of course, the speedway.
All motocross.
All motocross, yes. And then we have the speedway bikes. And I think it's 11 from Tony Rickardsson.
Is it 11 bikes of his up there?
Yeah, 11. And of course, one from you, Lee Adams, Ove Fundin. Ove Fundin is a fantastic man. I really like him. And there are some. We have 3 bikes from Ivan Major.
Yeah, who we've recently lost. So we, God rest his soul.
Yeah.
I saw those today. I didn't see those there before. I didn't notice them, but that's maybe right now too. While everything that's losing him, it's all fresh in the mind too. So it's pretty neat. Yeah. And Egon Mueller too, right? I saw you had some stuff from Egon Mueller.
Yeah.
Man.
Some trophies, suits, and there is a lot of things. And this winter we have been very busy with companies. They come and have dinner and drinking and guided tours. And we have one couple. We really should. We would like to have a music quiz. Yeah, no problem. I arrange it. So I just call and
You had a music quiz inside the museum.
Yeah. So we do everything.
That's sweet. I like the quiz or sometimes on the league nights or Grand Prix nights when you haven't been able to make it to a Grand Prix for something or other, and you'll have guests over at the museum, and you'll play the Grand Prix, and you'll do some quizzes, and then we have a chat.
Yeah.
You tend to call me, and we'll do a FaceTime chat with your group right before a Grand Prix starts or something.
Yeah, that was really cool. There is a lot of, maybe we had 60 guests sitting in the restaurant, and I call you on Skype. It was first.
Oh, it's on Skype. That's right. Yeah.
On Skype.
And you had it on your big screen, right? And
yeah. And that was really cool and.
So rad. That's that somebody has the thought to do these kind of things. So you're giving back to the customer base or the people that just come into the museum and show that we're linked to everything. You should come and check it out. It's really cool. So that's anyway, guys. And you know what? Magnus does a really cool thing during the Grand Prix in Målilla on the practice day. You guys have had a little collaboration with Monster Energy over the last couple of years and have a great barbecue here at the museum and invite people can come and buy a ticket to come in and have a barbecue, check out the museum, mingle with the riders. A lot of the riders from the GP show up. Yeah. And the Monster shows up with their rig and puts on a show for everyone. So, if you're in the Målilla area, you definitely have to stop in and see it. Put it on your bucket list and drop in and check it out. So, and you know what? I'm going to say thank you, Magnus. I appreciate you opening your doors. We're at your house now, and you have a busy schedule. I know you're off to do something with another help with one of the local schools in the area to do something to help with their kids and things you're going to do with them. So thank you, man, for your time, and I hope we can get you back on the podcast in the near future.
Yeah. Thank you, Greg.
You got it. See you soon, man.
Welcome to Real 45 with Stefan and Greg Hancock. We vibe out and have real talk, so tune in and check this out. Yeah, today is a new day. Let's seize it now and get hype. We talking about our careers, our family, and just life. Yeah, share my story with you. Inspiration like every day. Real 45, we gon' keep it live. I keep episodes on replay. Ayy, Real 45. Yeah, Real 45. Show them how we do it, man. Yeah.